Bain Vabu, a brand new university learning experience in the heart of Mabu. The Gaelic Foundations program is a first-year university learning experience in partnership with Cape Breton University. Immerse yourself in community, delve into a rich and living culture, and learn about the world through the viewpoint of the Gaels as you begin your next learning journey. Classes begin September of 2023. Bain Vabu, we welcome you to an educational experience like no other. For more information, click your way over to benvabu.ca.
So these are the bagpipes, and to be more specific, the Great Highland bagpipes. There's a lot of different types of pipes in the world. Almost every region in Europe developed its own take on bagpipes. So these were what was developed in Scotland over centuries. One of the more recognizable pipes out there just because of their influence in the British Army. This is what you'll have seen in parades or at funerals and weddings. They're quite popular. I'll give you a little overview of how they work. Basically, you have a blowpipe that you blow into with a one-way valve at the end. So you fill up this bag as a reservoir, and then you force the air out with this elbow. And your whole aim is to keep the stream as constant as possible and the pressure as constant as possible. When you're forcing the air out, you force them out through the other pipes. These pipes that are on my shoulder are called drones, and they just produce that one long monotone note that you hear throughout the melody. And the longer one is a bass drone, so that'll produce a B flat in this case for this instrument. And then the tenor drones will produce the same note but an octave higher. Then the melody comes out of this pipe called the chanter, and there's a number of holes on there, and inside the casing here is what we call the reed, and it's a double-bladed cane reed, much the same as an oboe reed. It has two tongues of cane. As the air passes through it, it vibrates and produces sound. And like any other woodwind, there's a bunch of holes on it, and the longer the sound has to travel down the pipe, the deeper the note, the lower the note is. So there's 9 notes in the pipe scale, so it's a little limited in that sense, and it's also limited as an instrument because there's only one volume, fairly loud, and you can't get louder, you can't get quieter, it's just one volume all the time. So to introduce dynamics into the music, we use a lot of gracing and ornamentation, and also to separate notes because you can't stop the melody. Once you're started, it's always playing melody. So to separate the notes, you use a lot of those gracings, and that gracing and ornamentation is something that really identifies pipe music. And that ornamentation, you still see it in the fiddle music and the music we know around here and in Scotland. It's informed a lot of the stylings that we use and the ornamentation that we use on the fiddle or any instrument.
I'm Jen of Super Duper Soup. Began about 5 years ago. It started when one friend asked me to make a bowl of soup. We were both laid off. And the next week, more friends asked for more soup. And the next thing we know,
bing bang boom, we're working out of the Boys and Girls Club kitchen once a week doing deliveries. Did a trade show and it just went crazy from there. So we were like, we need to find our own space.
we're a small business, and when you start a small business, not really ever having been in this industry before, we had no idea what was involved.
You don't know what you don't know. Dealing with the East Coast Credit Union, it's just been so easy.
They're more than a bank. It's not every bank that knows your name. It's not every bank that comes and helps and brings you products that you didn't even know existed.
Yeah, they know more than just our business. They know us and they know what we need. They're just a part of our team and they're there to help you. They want you to succeed.
They have a small business program and they get what small business is in Nova Scotia. Community means everything.
We feel very supported by not only the East Coast Credit Union, but our community in downtown Dartmouth as well. Building the relationship with East Coast Credit Union, I just know that going forward, they'll still be there for us. They'll continue to support us, not only as customers, but bringing us new products that will help us grow and continue to survive.
Doryman, I guess, tonight. Welcome to the Doryman here for our Wednesday night Ceilidh for Coalition of Gaelic, the Gaelic College. And we're doing it here tonight from the Doryman pub here in Cheticamp and Cheticamp. And we're very excited to do so. And I want to thank both Mark, the owner, and the entire team here at the Doryman for being so welcoming here tonight and having this on location. So very pleased as well, of course, to have Gillian Head with her fiddle from Cheticamp here, and as well Hilda Chiasson, who needs no introduction anywhere in Cape Breton, either one of these fine musicians. And we're going to be in for some great tunes here tonight. I'll probably take some time. My name is Rodney McDonald. I'm the president of Coalition of Gaelic, the Gaelic College. Yeah, we're very pleased. Usually these Ceilidhs are on site at the college, but the last couple of months we're doing them on the road a little bit and on different spots. Sometimes it's a house party, sometimes it's a place like here at the Doryman. And we'll have more to say about the Doryman throughout the Ceilidh. But I do want to say, if you want to come to a place where you're going to get a great drink and some great food and some fine hospitality, make sure if you're going around the Cabot Trail to come here as one of the great locations. There's many great locations, but the Doryman, you're going to meet some great music on a Saturday afternoon or many other nights throughout the week. So a little shout out to the folks online that are watching, to make sure when you're planning your trip, plan a stop to the Doryman. So we're going to get right to the tunes. I'll be back after a couple of selections. And it's great again to have you, Gillian. I do want to say, so Gillian grew up in New Waterford and now lives in Cheticamp for the last how many years? Last 4 or 5 years, okay. And yeah, we'll get in more into that. And I'll talk more about your CDs and such. But we'll get right to the music now and driving. Enjoy the tunes, folks.
Let me think for a minute.
Well, that was some great tunes. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Great stuff. Gillian Head on the fiddle and Hilda Chiasson on the piano. And we're again live here from the Doryman here in Cheticamp. Again, make sure you take the opportunity to visit the Doryman when you're going around the trail, or if you're here in the Cheticamp area. And so I thought I'd ask just a couple of questions. We won't spend too much time talking. But you know, one of the last times I saw you, but it's not that long ago we played some tunes back in your hometown. Yeah, back in New Waterford, and we were playing for a Celtic Colours show.
Yeah, at Calvin Hall, right in downtown New Waterford.
Right in downtown New Waterford. New Waterford's a great spot because there's a lot of it's a busy. It was a booming place one time with the mines and such.
Yeah.
And a lot of people from places like Belcoats, St. Joseph, Moyne, Cheticamp, Port Hood, Mabel, Inverness. When mines closed here, made their way over for work over to New Waterford.
Yeah, we have coal mines and now we have good pizza.
You have great pizza. Yeah, you have it all. And great pizza here at Cheticamp too, at Wabo's. And a little shout out not only here for the Doryman, but Mark and we do a great job there as well. What, just speaking of the Waterford then, Gillian, because I want to make sure that people online get a chance to know who is Gillian Head. And you grew up in New Waterford. I guess maybe you could tell us who taught you how to play the fiddle, who your influences were, and I know you were a step dancer.
Yeah,
as well.
I started out step dancing actually. I took lessons from Kate Hanrahan. And then went to Betty Matheson. But when I was still step dancing, probably still in the K days, there was a few of us that took up the fiddle. So around 8, 9-ish, I went to Stephanie Wills first for lessons for a couple years, and then Jerry Holland for quite a few years after that. So.
Well, you had great teachers because both those individuals. I mean, Jerry is internationally renowned for his music, of course, and Stephanie too. Stephanie was a great fiddler and a great piano player. And I remember playing for dances with her up in places like Sudbury, and of course around here in these parts. And
her tape tradition continued is still in the top 10 all-time fiddles.
Yeah. So you can hear it in your music too. When I was listening, and that influence from both those musicians.
I hope so.
Yeah, definitely. And of course your step dancing, I think that's it's interesting. So you step dance first and then you went to the fiddle, and which I think a lot of fiddlers today
pretty natural progression.
It's a natural progression.
Yeah.
A very good progression to have.
It's helpful.
Yeah, and no doubt and I know Hilda is a great dancer as well, so you can hear that in her piano playing as well. So you have 2 CDs to your credit. You have the 2018. You have Title.
Yep.
And in 2014
was Spirit.
Yeah.
I realize how ridiculous it is to have an album called Title, because it sounds like the title is Title, but it's like Tidal Wave.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Well, I encourage everyone to take a look for your CDs when they're traveling around or when they see you playing. Some great music, and she's nominated both through the ECMAs and as well through Music Nova Scotia. So both CDs are well worth taking a look at, for sure. And you played Spooda Scary, I think, the last tune you played there.
Yeah.
And is that on the CD or any of those tunes you played?
The very first tune on the first album was Spooda
there you go.
So.
There you go. Well, that's appropriate that you finished off.
Good time.
Really, great
You
time.
think I was playing it?
Yeah, it's great. So we'll get back to tunes. And any thoughts what you're going to play next?
You mentioned Stephanie, so maybe we'll do I Lost My Love and There Came a Young Lad, and then into some good jigs.
Some great jigs.
Yeah,
Lost My
some
Love.
classics.
Yeah, and appropriate for the College and the Gaelic, for the Gaelic College. Gaelic words to them as well. I lost my love. Okay. Enjoy.
Yeah, the first turn ends on a little swirly
Okay, very good. Great tunes again. And I was thinking about the jigs you played earlier. You played Awesome Love. After that, you played Achievement Open. Achievement Open is I want you to work.
Yeah.
And so Gaelic words to that as well. And I'd often hear my grandfather down Angus play both of those tunes together as we played them.
I actually learned that tune at the Gaelic College from Jerry. It was
Very good.
before I started lessons with him. He taught that.
So how many years did you go to the Gaelic College?
I did a couple summers and a few March breaks.
There you go. Ah, perfect. See? So this is what happens when you go to the Gaelic College and you take lessons. Now, good timing. We have March break coming up in a couple of weeks, and usually we have upwards to about 150 students that go over the two time frames. And today our summer programming went out, and the website is there. So I encourage if you have a son or a daughter, or if you as an adult want to go and take lessons, please take a look at the website, and you can sign up and you can stay on site, accommodations, meals. Some great lessons from people like the Jerry Hollands of the world and many other great musicians, and
Fun hangs with fellow students as well after
exactly.
classes.
It's a kind of it's something when people go, they have lifelong friendships, and with other musicians, and you know all about that because you have a lifelong friendship here, living in Cheticamp, and of course your partner Jason Roach is a fantastic piano player.
Yeah.
We have to mention him as well, and he's a great friend of the college. He's been at our Ceilidh before, and like yourself, and here tonight, and part of Kitchen Fest as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of our venues that we are here throughout the week between June 30th and July 8th this year for Kitchen Fest. So anyway, very exciting. And one of the questions I do have for you is, and I asked the same question to Doug Laney a couple of weeks ago, but do you learn by ear, or do you learn by note, or do you do both? What's the...
Kind of both, I guess. I like to kind of take tunes from tapes because obviously you get a lot of traditional fun things and stylistic things that books don't offer, but it's fun to be able to just rip through a book and find tunes that you haven't heard before.
Do you have certain books that are your go-to books? Like a Jerry book or something?
Well, the Cranford, all of those collections are a staple because that covers so much ground between the Brenda and the Jerry and
that's the Paul Cranford books you're referring to?
Yeah, and some Irish books and different stuff.
Excellent.
Thousand Fiddle Tunes is always a good time.
Well, that's appropriate with your Irish roots.
Yeah.
I'm going to, we're going to get back to the music. Before we do, I do want to mention to the folks online, and then when we come back, maybe I'll ask Hilda a couple of questions after a couple more selections. Is that okay? And Hilda's, Hilda's played with any of the musicians in the last 40 plus, a little over 40 years. A little over 40 years. She's played with them all, and many times I've seen you play on this stage, and I couldn't help but think, coming here to the Doryman, and especially on a Saturday afternoon, to be hearing like Donnie LeBlanc and Andre on the piano, and Gelas on the guitar, and Arthur, of course, Arthur Muse, and so many others like that, and so many great musicians here in Cheticamp. And when you look around the walls here in some of the glass, you see some of the names that had an influence here at the Doryman and Cheticamp area for music. And now, of course, both of you, of course, have that same influence as well. I do want to remind those online, we're able to do these Ceilidhs through the support of donations, and we thank our sponsors who help us bring these Ceilidhs every week. And I do encourage you online, if you want to make a donation towards the Ceilidhs, we truly appreciate it. It goes through our youth programs, and it keeps our Ceilidhs going every week. So that's an important thing for us at the college, an important part of our mandate. And that's all I'll say to that. Well, I do encourage folks, and we appreciate the support in the last, even in the last few weeks. So, we'll get back to tunes. Any thoughts?
No.
No. Go with the flow.
Just gonna play the fiddle.
Like a true Cape Breton
Stick to what I
fiddler.
know.
Like a true Cape Breton fiddler. All right.
A few words.
This is
but
probably
not
the
too.
most talking that's ever happened on the Doryman stage with a mic, because usually it's just tunes, and that's the way everybody wants it. All right.
Always kept the same coloring too, just as dark.
helping out with the sound here tonight too, and of course, great friend to the Doryman and previous owner, and a lover of music. And check out the radio station here in Cheticamp, and you can probably hear he's on the program. What night's your program? Monday nights, 6 to 7. So if you want to hear some great tunes and such, check into his program here on the radio station here in Cheticamp. Couple of questions for Hilda, and great tunes again as well, and really enjoying the tunes here tonight. And so Hilda, I just finished reading the book about the piano accompaniment, and you're quoted a number of times, but for those that are watching and listening, who started you on the piano? How did you learn at home or lessons or what?
No, my grandfather had a piano next door. They started off years back with an organ, so Dad remembers picking at it and stuff. So there was already music.
Did you start the organ too, or no, on the piano?
No, by then my Aunt Yvette played for dances. She played piano for dances. Simpler chording style, like Marie McClellan and those guys, but beautiful playing. And especially on Dad's side of the family, we're all kind of closet musicians. So we're all shy. And so Arthur Muse was over all the time, especially like there were parties every weekend basically. And that went on both sides of the family because my great-grandfather's house was a party place as well. And Winston was known to be there. Jacques Avignon had made an appearance or 2 years back. But at Grandpa Peter's place, they were right next door and I was really young. And Arthur would come over and jam with my Aunt Yvette. And I remember standing on this side of the piano all the time watching. And I'd be guessing as to where Yvette was going to go next. So, and sometimes I was wrong and sometimes I was right. And so I'd learned the second time around. So I guess I got my hearing from that. So yeah.
So watching.
My ears a little sharper and quicker because of Arthur and Yvette.
And did she show you the chords, or did someone else show you the chords?
If I had a chance, sometimes I'd ask, but we also grew up on country music, and bluegrass, of course, was mixed in there, but I didn't know what was bluegrass so much when I was a kid. And so it was easier sometimes to just kind of learn with the country songs. They were slower and stuff, so I learned from that. And but then my grandmother, I'd have to kind of find the courage to ask if I could play a little while. And poor grandma, I'd be there singing songs in my head or singing tunes in my head, and I'd chord to them, but she wouldn't hear the tunes. She'd only hear the don't-diddy-don't-diddy, and I drove her crazy. So before she died, at least, see, if I had known better, I would have been singing along or something so she could hear the whole thing, so I'd get more of a chance to play more often. But it just drove her crazy. She'd go, oh, ba, ba, ba. Well, I guess, for a while. But before she passed on, she got to see where,
how it all ended up, that you could chord to the
was all about.
The songs and such. Yeah. Well, that's great. No, it's it amazes me, the piano players, how they can, as fiddlers, you just start playing, and they don't know what key you're going on. They just start chording, and so the ear is so well trained, and you're a great dancer as well, of course. And we love your playing, we love your dancing, and you're a great friend of the college as well. And we appreciate all that you have done in that regard. And in the summers, you can be found around the trail, working with the parks and such, and doing a lot of great work there.
I've got 2 lives to I'm at Parks Canada during the day, Snow White by day, Snow White by night. At midnight you can see me usually running through the Gaelic College fields in my high heels, stilettos, trying to get in the car so I can get home to get back to work the next morning at Parks Canada.
That's great though, because that's really the story of our music, right? And a lot of people, they're busy. There are some musicians who that's their life, and they're able to, they have to do a lot of traveling, and you've done that before as well. And then most of us, all of us on this stage, we do other things. For instance, I know, Gillian, you do a lot of teaching maybe we'll grab the mic and we'll put a little shout out to that as well. Thanks very much, Gillian. So you teach individual lessons or group lessons?
Private lessons, private fiddle lessons, and we've also had some couple adult stuff dance
and where
classes.
maybe it's just so everybody will hear on the mic.
It's Raviston, they call the music Raviston here in Cheticamp.
Very good. So you're giving back as Stephanie and Jerry did and others to help you.
You can call it that, I guess.
You are.
Trying.
You don't realize the mentorship though is so important, and so that's.
Well, it's a great thing there. There's piano lessons and guitar and singing and all kinds of stuff going on. And I know Claude and some other fellows have sessions and stuff going too. So.
And that's probably playing a large part in some of the young people and how much they love music and culture here. And I think that's the great thing about here is that you have Acadian tunes, you have Scottish tunes mixed in, you have different styles, new compositions being made here by different fiddlers, and a different sound and a different flair. There's a certain energy in this building that you probably feel every time you play here. Well, listen, we'll get back to some tunes, and maybe we'll do a couple more selections.
Okay,
and then maybe I'll join you for a blast at the end.
Sounds good.
I do want to one thing I do want to mention. I encourage those online again to check our radio station cbfm.ca. And our manager of the radio station, Ryan McDonald, is here doing our live streaming here tonight. So cbfm.ca, you'll hear all Cape Breton different genres of music. And so check that out. And you can check us out online, or if you don't have a computer, you can go to Bell TV on Ceilidh and 536 on Bell TV, and you can hear CBFM on there as well. We have a Foundations Year University program happening in Mabou, starting in September at Bain Vabel, and that's if you're going to be a first-year student, check that out. Great opportunity, a new program in conjunction and partnership with Cape Breton University as well. And so if you're culturally inclined and culturally interested, worth checking, and there's some great bursaries and some more scholarships we'll be announcing in the not too distant future. So we'll get back to the most important part, and that is the tunes. We will announce the next couple of days where we'll be next week. We'll be somewhere different again. But you'll see us in places like Antigonish coming up, and English Town, and other places as well. And anything else I should be mentioning? I wonder who's playing here Saturday, because Saturday afternoon, do we know offhand? Saturday afternoon, nothing this Saturday, but keep an eye out for the following Saturday. Check the website out at www.doryman.ca. It's up there on the stage. And if you check out that, see what's coming up here at the Doryman for music. And you're sure to be in for some great music. And also, as I understand it, having talked to Mark, you can book here for private functions as well. Weddings and other things at dinners and such that have happened here. So check that out as well. And a shout out to the Doryman and the other places here in Cheticamp that have been so generous to the music as well. All right, so back to the tunes.
Sweet.
Driver. Well, great tunes once again. We love them, and want to thank you very much, Gillian and Hilda, both of you, for the great music this evening. A little round of applause for our musicians here tonight. Thank you for the tunes and for answering some of the questions. I know it's not the norm that we usually do on this stage or most of our stages. As one fiddler said to me, they're used to going and playing tunes. And that's it. They don't tell the tunes, they don't do any of that. So this is a great chance for us to have a conversation and some tunes. And we thank you for doing that for us. So take a look for Gillian's CDs, and the next time you're at one of the local stores, or next time you see her 2018 title and 2014 Spirit. And,
I got two of those left collected by this point.
Yeah, so maybe better, or online, I suppose, too. Yep. Yeah, so you can check that out as well. And so some great music. And I know, of course, Hilda's been on numerous CDs. and so you can hear her playing on many artists' CDs and always great music. I want to say thank you as well to the Doryman for the continuing support of the culture, the music, and for young musicians as well as established musicians, and for providing an opportunity for the people of the area to have a gathering place and a place to enjoy the music and fellowship, if you will, of our Cape Breton style. Again, the Gaelic College, Culture and the Gaelic, thanks you for joining us online. We are always open to donations. I usually mention that a couple of times. If you want to sponsor a Ceilidh, feel free. The information, Ryan will make sure it's up on the website. On our live stream, and it makes a huge difference for us to be able to continue these. And once we hit April, we'll be back at the college, and so we encourage you also to visit us live there as well. So March break programming coming up, summer programming out today. Our first year university program, please take a look at that and the scholarship opportunities that are attached to that. And cbfm.ca. Anything else I'm forgetting, Ryan?
I don't think.
That pretty well covers it all. That's a little bit of our commercial advertisements. If you get a chance, as well, go to other venues. A Celtic Music Center is a great spot on a Sunday afternoon. There's music here in Cheticamp at places like the Gabriel throughout the year and other venues here as well. And of course at the school and the performance center there throughout the year. Take a look at that. The dances, there's different dances, whether you're in Sydney at the Cedars Club, the Cape Breton University Pipe Band is sponsoring them now. Take a look for those. Take a look at places like New Waterford, Gillian's hometown, at the KOC, who sometimes have dances.
Glendale on Friday.
Margery Firemen's Club, just down the road. Iona has family dances. Glendale Hall has family dances now. Shelley Campbell can be heard.
This Friday.
This Friday?
Yeah.
At
Glendale.
At Glendale. Okay, so this Friday, Glendale, Shelley Campbell and Alan.
It just says Shelley
and a piano player.
Yeah.
And that'll be on Friday evening. I believe they start around 7.
7 to 9, I think.
7 to 9. So check that out. Glendale Hall, Shelley Campbell. That's great to see. Take a look online as well if you want to check out the Highland Village website. And you can see they were posting this past week the first figure of the Iona set as well. And there's a beautiful set here in Cheticamp that I always love to see when coming here to the area. And I encourage those from that are watching or those who have roots here or those that live here to please keep that set going here in the Acadian region. That is a beautiful set, and we need to make sure we see it every Saturday afternoon here. I know there is a committed group that always does it, but we want to see 2 or 3 or 4 of those sets on the floor here in Cheticamp over here. So, and of course the Knights of Columbus as well. I guess they have music as well, so from time to time, not as much as used to. But. Okay, one final blast, Strasbourg and some reels. Thanks a lot, Gillian, and take care, everyone. Thank you very much. Bain Babel, a brand new university learning experience in the heart of Mabu. The Gaelic Foundations program is a first-year university learning experience in partnership with Cape Breton University. Immerse yourself in community, delve into a rich and living culture, and learn about the world through the viewpoint of the Gaels as you begin your next learning journey. Classes begin September of 2023. Bain Babel, we welcome you to an educational experience like no other. For more information, click your way over to benbabel.ca.
So these are the bagpipes, and to be more specific, the Great Highland bagpipes. There's a lot of different types of pipes in the world. Almost every region in Europe developed its own take on bagpipes. So these were what was developed in Scotland over centuries. One of the more recognizable pipes out there just because of their influence in the British Army. This is what you'll have seen in parades or at funerals and weddings. They're quite popular. And I'll give you a little overview of how they work. Basically, you have a blowpipe that you blow into with a one-way valve at the end. So you fill up this bag as a reservoir, and then you force the air out with this elbow. And your whole aim is to keep the stream as constant as possible and the pressure as constant as possible. When you're forcing the air out, you force them out through the other pipes. These pipes that are on my shoulder are called drones, and they just produce that one long monotone note that you hear throughout the melody. And the longer one is a bass drone, so that'll produce a B flat in this case for this instrument. And then the tenor drones will produce the same note, but an octave higher. Then the melody comes out of this pipe called the chanter. And there's a number of holes on there. And inside the casing here is what we call the reed. And it's a double-bladed cane reed, much the same as an oboe reed. It has two tongues of cane. As the air passes through it, it vibrates and produces sound. And like any other woodwind, there's a bunch of holes on it, and the longer the sound has to travel down the pipe, the deeper the note, the lower the note is. So there's 9 notes in the pipe scale, so it's a little limited in that sense, and it's also limited as an instrument because there's only one volume, fairly loud, and you can't get louder, you can't get quieter, it's just one volume all the time. So to introduce dynamics into the music, we use a lot of gracing and ornamentation, and also to separate notes because you can't stop the melody. Once you're started, it's always playing melody. So to separate the notes, you use a lot of those gracings. And that gracing and ornamentation is something that really identifies pipe music. And that ornamentation, you still see it in the fiddle music and the music we know around here and in Scotland. It's informed a lot of the stylings that we use and the ornamentation that we use on the fiddle or any instrument.